What's up, gamers? Red Dragon here, and we are covering the latest news. So, the news media. I hate to even call them that, because usually when you think of news media, you think of journalists, you think of people who actually are doing research on stories before they come and discuss them, but a lot of times we don't get that in the States. And the other day I did a story on Glenn Beck and his retarded views on watchdogs and hacking, and now here comes the Young Turks, and they've got a conspiracy theory that I don't even know where to begin. I guess I'll just cover it. So here we go. So the Young Turks are convinced that developers have clearly, and these are their words, clearly put a lookalike of Trayvon Martin inside the game Watch Dogs. If you don't remember, Trayvon Martin was a kid in the States. He was 17 years old, and he was shot and killed, and it made national news headlines. It was talked about for a while. There was a big trial, whatever. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but anyway, he was wearing a hoodie. He's black, and he was shot and killed, so that must mean that any black character in a game that's wearing a hoodie must be Trayvon Martin. So Jink has come out, and he says that he believes that this game maliciously put this in there, whether to make a story, whether to draw attention to it, or just because somebody thought it was funny and would be mean in order to do this. So here's where it comes from. Somebody found an NPC. His name is Kayvon Fortin, which honestly I don't even really think sounds that much alike to Trayvon Martin. But anyway, he's age 21, which isn't the age of Trayvon Martin. Trayvon was 17 years old. His occupation is a dealer, and I don't recall anybody claiming that Trayvon was a dealer. His income was $46,000. I believe Trayvon was living at home with his parents, so I'm not sure where he would get that much money. And he was wearing an orange hoodie. And if I recall, Trayvon was wearing a gray hoodie. So the only thing that these two characters really have in common is that they were both black. It's really ridiculous when people who don't play video games try to talk about video games as if they know what the hell they're talking about. Because it was clear Anna and Jink didn't have a clue about Watch Dogs. They had no idea how the game worked. They didn't understand that NPCs are in the hundreds and possibly thousands in the game, and that they are randomly generated, meaning that you can go to an area of the game, you can play it, you can go back to that area later on, and you'll see completely different people with completely different names. A lot of the names you will see in the game are the same, and they'll be mixed up in different combinations of words placed together. So it just so happens that this NPC, he was also in a convoy, so they made sure to point that out. They tried to say that, you know, this was done to make it look like he was a bad guy, even though there's tons of NPCs who are in the game that are wearing hoodies of all different colors. And, you know, it's not like you were on a neighborhood watch mission or anything like that. Like, it is so far out there. And, you know, the Young Turks are a group of people who like to bash anybody who comes up with some conspiracy theory when it comes to Benghazi or the IRS or anything else that's actually got a paper trail to it that's happening in politics. And yet they, in their all-knowing power and knowledge, have come to the conclusion that this is clearly a replicate of Trayvon Martin in the game, and that this was done maliciously. If you want to read or watch this retarded exchange, I will leave a link down in the description box. You can tell from the like and dislike bar from that video what the majority of people think about it. And it's clear that most people don't see it. And I sure as hell don't see it. And they want to talk about how malicious this is and how crude and everything else. And what I think is crude is automatically assuming just because a black guy is wearing a hoodie in a video game that it has something to do with Trayvon Martin. And what I think is crude is for the Young Turks to constantly bring up this story at every opportunity, I guess because it makes good news footage. I guess it's good, you know, for their income and their views. And I think it's kind of crude to constantly take advantage of a dead kid for views. That's my take on it. That does it for me, the Red Dragon. Post your comments below. Let me know, do you think this was intentional? Do you think this is Trayvon Martin inside the video game, even though they're not wearing the same color hoodie, they're not the same age, they're not the same occupation? I don't recall Trayvon being banned from a nightclub. I don't really see a whole lot of resemblance to anything in here except for a news outlet that's definitely trying to make a story out of nothing. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.